What's going on, guys? Bel Air here. Today we are rocking with probably one of the most unique presets that I have seen, and it is from a player that I bet you don't expect unless you actually watch this matchup. This is Vatira. I don't know if you've heard of him before. Him and Karmine Corp have had a rocky season, we'll call it, but they are still, in my opinion, poised to be one of the few teams who truly can contend for a world title in about a week and a half here, as they are going to open up the scoring here against Jobless with Nas, who has been a super sub on a couple of teams here recently. But Karmine Corp, just quickly going over the results, I'm sure you guys remember. They go first place, first place, first place in the first three qualifiers of the season. The new roster clearly is working. Atau is finding his spot as kind of a slicing, ultra fast, hyper mechanical scorer, creator, distributor. Vatira is statistically about exactly the same, taking a few less shots, which makes sense with Ryzen Atau on the team, but for all intents and purposes, Vatira is still considered one of the best players in the world. And him and Rise, the synergy comes back quickly. Rise is an excellent midfielder, probably one of the smartest on and off the ball players that the RLCS has to offer. Whether he is striking with force, making huge goal line saves like that one, or just doing something creative off the ball to set up his teammates. Rise is an incredible passer. I thought that he was one of the best players in the world last year as well, and I still do, although after they got a semifinal finish in London, Split 2 was kind of a nightmare for this, dream squad here. Quarterfinal out in Open Qualifier 4. They miss Open Qualifier 5 completely. That was, a solemn day in the Rocket League community. We all remember when they missed. They lost to was it Suh and it was Top Cougars, the other team. Then they go third, fourth. I think they got eliminated. Did they get eliminated? Either BDS or Luna Galaxy was the final. But I don't, if I recall correctly, I don't think it mattered. I think they were going to miss the London Major regardless of if they won that event or not. But in any case, they did not make London, which I think, even for a team as good as this, has made us forget about them a little bit, to be honest with you. This team is clearly one of the best in the world. They are one of the most talented in the world, and I don't think that's very arguable. Especially for me, like I think I'm probably a little higher on this roster than most, just because I had all three of these players in my top 5 after the World Championship last season. So this is really a an all-star squad for me. But I also think, time moves fast. There's a lot of stuff going on, and out of sight, out of mind. Karmine Corp not being at the London Major, not being at the Shift Summer League, not playing in the EWC. We just haven't seen them in a while, and we have seen some teams who have looked excellent, whether that be Falcons or G2. What a weird save that was by Vatira. And, there's still all these other teams who have been cooking. Vitality, of course, are still good. BDS just won a ton in split number 2 prior to London, and then they win the EWC. So they're obviously a team who are on the rise. But I just don't think we can count out this Karmine Corp team. I know that Rise and Vatira especially have been doubted and put in challenging spots time and time again over the course of their careers. I, of course, think back to when they made that huge lower bracket run. They won like 4 or 5 straight games to make it to the grand finals of, what was that? The Winter Major last season, although I could be wrong. So I'll just never doubt those players out. That was a great 50 in the box by Vatira to score there. as they're up in this series. Jobless trying to battle back, but I just don't think I'll be out on this team until they tell me otherwise consistently. I mean, of course they missed one of the qualifiers, but if you take that off, which I know is like, oh yeah, just remove their worst result. If you take that away, it's still been an excellent season. I mean, there's a lot of teams who have only won, like, haven't even won a qualifier or have only been close. Um, and for them to win three at the beginning shows you that there was something, there's some secret sauce there that really makes them, cook pretty hard when they're going. And that is going to be the end of this, as Vatiba is going to get a goal to his name, an assist, and two saves. This is actually going to tie up the series to a pop. So let's hop over to game five and see what direction Karmine Corp take this now that they're kind of battling back against this jobless squad in the grand finals. Rise point of view, we're on the classic Finnick. I forgot to mention, I think it's early in the morning as we're recording this. Some family in town, so we're getting this going before everybody is online, as it were. And a quick goal here to put Karmine Corp on the board early. This is the EWC Community Cup tournament for Europe, so I think it's like the best of the rest. Like, if you're not getting invited to EWC, you're here. Honestly, kind of shocking that Karmine Corp did not get invited to this. Although I do know what it was it only three teams from each, because they had quite a few regions and then two MENA teams. So maybe they just said, we can only invite three. Karmine Corp missed one, so it's just how the cookie crumbles. But anyways, so as we were saying before we dropped off, the last time, a win like this is big for Karmine Corp, just to show that they still have it, because clearly there was something that had them just really cooking Europe. And I think the question is less about talent and just more about the mental side of things. And I think what the expectations are for this team being very high, make it a little less black and white as to how they're going to perform at the upcoming event. And I think the main person that I have my eyes on, you might think that it's Atal, just because, oh, he's the newest player. He has been in the least situations like this to kind of have to overcome adversity and be in tough situations. I actually do think that it's going to be Rise here, just because the connective tissue that he is for this squad, especially on stage. I think in a lot of cases it comes down to the ability to score easy goals, similar to like in the NBA. A common thing that I try and think about, especially in like the playoffs, is how easy are the shots you're getting, how easy are the points that you are getting. And you look at a team like, wow, what a pass. Look at this leave off to Vatira. Not only is he going to slow it down to the perfect spot, but he's going to leave just enough room for him to take this. It's like perfect. The ability to get stuff like that, like easy goals where Rise is just going to hook one out of the corner and then just pick it to the perfect spot to leave for his teammate. Or even this here, like, look at that. Like, he makes it look so easy off a kickoff for them to go up 4-0 and really open up this wound here against Jobless. I think we have seen the opposite of that with Falcons, whose offense just hums. They absolutely kill everybody. And then you get to a really big, tense situation in a LAN environment. The offense slows down. The reactions get a little tight. The communications get a little quieter and less frequent than normal. And sometimes you just need somebody to get you a quick, easy goal. And I think Rise is one of the best in the world at that. Great on the ground, great with his dribbles, really smart, able to, beat one on a fake, and then just punish whoever it is on the goal line, or leave one off to his teammates, make something out of a quick kickoff goal like we've seen him do a couple of times in this game here. So I think having a player who is able to get those quick, easy goals for you really can be the difference between contending and winning a tournament like this. And do I think the Karmine Corp are the favorites heading into this? Definitely not. I think that there is certainly something to momentum. We've seen the opposite of that with the Gentlemates, who did not have a very good EWC, although I definitely still think that they are certainly in contention to win. But I would certainly look at the Falcons and G2s of the world before Karmine Corp. I think I probably have them. Um, Honestly, I think I have them even with the rest of the pack. And this is just me talking early in the morning, uncaffeinated. So maybe I publish this video and I'm like, you fool. And I'll definitely have more Worlds content coming out before this, where I'll give this a lot more time and thought and consideration. But, why would BDS, a team who have also been good, but not always super consistent on a series by series basis, on a game by game basis, tournament by tournament basis. Why would they necessarily have a better chance than Karmine Corp just because they won recently? I suppose, but I don't totally buy into that way of thinking. I think that's more results driven than it is performance and quality driven. And it's kind of like when the Boston Celtics, made it to or close to the finals several times in a row, where it's like, oh, they lost, you got to break up the team. Well, it's like, well, they just won one. Maybe you just need to, think less about the end result itself and more about, the content that we watched over the course of the year, and over the course of the years, even more so with Karmine Core. I just still feel very strongly about their core. And I think, Farah is a coach that a lot of people were really googly eyed over with Vitality. I never thought that he was like that, like absolutely, oh my gosh, there's no way they would win without Farah. But I do know that he is a high quality coach who I think these players trust. And I think a long, break within the middle of the season here is the motivation that these players need to come back strong. I'd put out a string of tweets recently talking about the leaderboards in rank twos currently. Um, the only team who has all three players within the top 20 is Gentlemates, so they clearly are taking their EWC loss very seriously and they are grinding hard. And then the other team who is incredibly close is Karmine Corp. It fluctuates daily, so Rise was 23rd when I looked the other day, but Vatira's like 8th and Atau's 4th. So Karmine Corp are not rolling into this thing unready. I think they're motivated, and I think they're really going to prove some people wrong. They got a very tough matchup to start things off with, which I think is good for them against Space Station Gaming. So, what do you guys think about Karmine Corp as we head into the World Championship here? Do you think that they are near that top rung of contenders? Do you consider them dark horses, or do you think the season was just too tough sledding for them to turn it around at this point? Excited to hear what you guys say in the comments below. Thank you so much for checking out the content. I am getting close to the end of my work schedule, the busy period being over here. So as we go into Worlds, the content is going to flow freely. Guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your weekend. And until next time, guys, take it easy.